Welcome back to AI and Finance, where we slow down the relentless pace of AI news and distill it into insights that you all, wealth management professionals, can actually use. I'm Matt Reiner, and each month we take the most important headlines and developments and translate them into practical guidance for you all, the wealth management community. What struck me this month was we were witnessing AI tools becoming less like sophisticated calculators and more like, well, colleagues. That might sound dramatic, but when you look at what ChatGPT is doing, connecting to all of your work apps, when you see AI systems diving deep into SEC filings and leveling the playing field, and then when OpenAI starts to talk about and discuss this concept of human and AI relationships, we're clearly in a different phase. I think back to about 12 months ago where we were talking about what can AI do for us, and now we're talking about what is AI thinking for us. It's a totally different concept. And the question isn't whether AI will change how you serve clients. It's now a question of whether or not our firms are going to be ready when it does change how we serve clients. And so today, what we're exploring are three developments and headlines that show us where this is all heading. We're going to talk about the rise of AI as a universal work assistant. We're going to talk about the democratization of financial research, something that I've been talking about frequently about how AI is now leveling the playing field of what is necessary beyond just a Bloomberg or even in need of a Bloomberg. And then finally, we're going to talk about a recent blog by OpenAI that talks about the surprisingly complex psychology of working alongside artificial intelligence. It may seem scary. It's not, because we're going to distill it to what it means for you all. So, with that, let's dive in. Headline number one is the all in one AI assistant has arrived. ChatGPT just made a leap that changes everything about how we think about AI at work. It can now connect directly into all of your favorite apps that you use on a daily and frequent basis: Gmail, Teams, Google Drive, SharePoint, and it can now pull data from all of these systems without you having to upload a single file. Think about what this means. No more copying and pasting or dragging and dropping between applications. No more of going and saying, let me find that document and get back to you, ChatGPT. No more juggling multiple tabs to piece together information for a client presentation. ChatGPT can now reach into your digital workspace and grab exactly what it needs from the systems you are already using. But here's what makes this particularly powerful: it shows you exactly where each piece of information came from. Sourcing information has been a worry, and this has now been solved. So, when ChatGPT tells you something about a client's portfolio history or pulls up the market analysis from last quarter, you can immediately verify the source. This was something that Perplexity, another AI solution, came out with many months ago and was a game changer. ChatGPT now is leveling up. But there is more. ChatGPT can now record and summarize your meetings. It listens to your conversations, identifies key points and action items, and creates a summary when you're done. The full transcript gets added to your knowledge base within ChatGPT so you can reference past meetings whenever you need to. This isn't just convenience, it's a fundamental shift in how we interact with information at work, right? Instead of having to manage multiple tools like our AI meeting note taker, ChatGPT, and our CRM, and our file storage system like SharePoint or Google Drive, and then trying to remember where everything is, you have one interface that can access and synthesize information from across your entire digital workspace. And more importantly, it can all be sourced, taking you to that document when you see the information about that document synthesized across your documents. That is game changing, and also efficiently creating processes for us to know where our information is. So, what does this mean for wealth managers? Well, this development addresses one of the biggest friction points, in my opinion, in financial advisory work: information fragmentation. Your client data is in your CRM. Their documents are in one folder, maybe in Box or SharePoint. Market research is in another system, maybe a Bloomberg or another system on your drives. Meeting notes are scattered across platforms or in your AI meeting note taker system. Suddenly, you can ask natural questions like, show me all communications with the Johnson family about their retirement planning, plus the latest research on specific mutual funds. And right away, you get a comprehensive answer that pulls from multiple sources. Multiple people are working on individual specific data streams. And now, as an advisor, I can access all of their best work in one interface and access it with relation to what matters, which is are the clients that we serve. So for client meetings, this is transformative. This is something that we looked to try to solve when we were building our technology company, Benjamin. Instead of frantically searching through files while your client waits, or worse, promising to follow up after the meeting, you can get real-time access to whatever information the conversation demands in real time. You can have ChatGPT be part of the conversation, not just a tool after the conversation. But the meeting recording feature, which we already are starting to use more frequently, might be the bigger game changer, in my opinion. As meeting recording apps have become more prominent, we still struggle with having yet another technology to interact with. And now, with what ChatGPT has done, it now allows for us to have all of the information to be in the history of our ChatGPT and can be connected with our documents given the document integration announcement. And so now all conversations are now searchable and referenceable. The risk, of course, that we all know is yes, cyber and you have data risk, but it's also over reliance risk. When information becomes this accessible, the temptation is to really lean on the AI rather than developing your own expertise and intuition. Now, that is where the human is so valuable. So it is something that we need to be aware of and say we're going to use this information to help us be successful in understanding the information, but our value where we're going to invest time and energy in is on delivering the information and helping our clients understand it. So it is not replacing us. It should augment us and elevate us to be able to do more for more people in a more diverse and full holistic aspect as well. So what are some action steps that we can all take to start moving forward with based on this news from OpenAI? I think the first step is if you don't have OpenAI an account, go get an account. And if you do have an OpenAI account, maybe you have a personal account or if you have an enterprise account, but if you have a personal account, just start with one integration. Don't try to connect to everything at once. Pick maybe your Google Drive and import data sources and experiment with how ChatGPT can help you extract insights from your own Google Drive. If you have an enterprise account, maybe do your enterprise document solution as well. The second is establish meeting protocols. If you're going to start recording client meetings, you definitely need clear consent process and data security procedures. So work with the compliance team, set those up now because it's becoming more prevalent to use AI meeting note takers, whether you use ChatGPT or not. But then if you do decide to use ChatGPT for your meeting note taker, make sure you get on the enterprise solution to secure from a compliance standpoint. I think that the third thing is that we need to create information architecture. This one is, to me, the most important one. People think that AI is going to solve the kind of the tangled nature mess that they have behind the scenes with information architecture. The more organized your existing data is, the more valuable these integrations become. Now, right now is the time to focus on creating structured organization of all of your information and documentation across your organization. Because as AI becomes more prevalent, the need and ability for you to gain value from AI and the necessary aspect that it's going to require is streamlined, structured data. So do that now so that you can move faster later. Headline 2, financial research gets democratized. Perplexity just launched a direct integration with SEC filings, and it's a bigger deal than it might initially appear. For the first time, any investor, from retirement savers to financial advisors, can ask plain English questions about complex financial documents and get clear, cited answers. There's a trend happening right now, not only just with AI, there is a trend happening with the new language to get information being English. What do I mean by that? Coding has now turned to the coding language of users is English. Tell it what you want and it codes it for you. The coding language for investment research is no more necessarily needing financial acumen. Just use plain English, and AI is going to go find you the information that has the financial acumen behind it. English is becoming the core aspect of all of our abilities in the world today, from coding to financial research. And so instead of wading through hundreds of pages of dense 10K filings that have financial acumen spread throughout, or even having to go to proxy statements, you can now ask questions like, what are Tesla's biggest risk factors? Or how has Microsoft's revenue mix changed over the past 3 years? Or who is selling that is a very big shareholder within Microsoft? And you get comprehensive answers with direct citations to the source documents. And so this isn't just search, it's comprehensive. The AI reads these documents, understands the relationship between different pieces of information, and then can synthesize insights that might take hours for human and the analysts to piece together. Buy side, sell side analysts do this every day. Now, the layman can do it at any point in their day without that type of knowledge and education as well. Traditional financial data platforms like Bloomberg terminals or FactSet, these things cost thousands of dollars per month and require specialized training. I mean, they're built for institutional investors and professional analysts. Individual investors and traditional wealth management firms that may be smaller have been stuck with simplified summaries or fragmented information sources just using Yahoo Finance or Bloomberg Online. But now the playing field has been leveled. The same depth of financial analysis that is available to anyone, but now the same depth of financial analysis that was available to these big firms and these well-established brands is available to anyone with a Perplexity account. The playing field just got dramatically more level, and that is game changing for what we can provide to more families. So, what does it mean specifically for wealth management? Well, this democratization cuts both ways, to be honest, for financial advisors. On one hand, it is an incredible research accelerator. It levels the playing field against our competitors. We all can now quickly dive deep into any public company, understand their strategic decisions, identify risk factors, and compare financial metrics all through natural conversation rather than complex data queries or having a data mining skill set or whatever it may be. We can now all do that. But on the other hand, our clients now have access to the same information. The advisor who built their value proposition on having access to better financial data to make decisions just lost a significant competitive advantage. But I see that with all of these one side or two sided things, there's an opportunity for wealth managers. This is our opportunity to level up the value that we provide as human providers of information, relationship individuals that generate value by deepening relationships to help people use their money to find purpose. And so information access was never really our primary value. We hinged it because it was tangible. Our value has been and always will be interpretation, context, and guidance. When your client comes to you with questions after reading a company's risk factors on Perplexity, for instance, that is not a threat, in my opinion. It's a real opportunity for a deeper conversation about how those risks fit into their overall portfolio strategy. We are being able to provide insights and information by creating connections between multiple pieces of data. Our clients will use this to get singular pieces of data, just like headlines. Our job now is to connect the dots for what it means to them. So the real change is that these conversations can now be more sophisticated. right? Instead of spending time explaining what a company does or what their recent earnings showed, you can dive straight into what it means for your client's financial goals because your clients have access to the same information. So here's some action steps to think about for helping to start implementing and utilizing this new feature within Perplexity. I think that it makes sense to start using Perplexity when you are analyzing individual stocks. Instead of going to Yahoo Finance, instead of using the tools that you are now, go and have a conversation with Perplexity and start asking it about recent 10Ks and SEC filings and see what information it provides. And start using this in your analysis and process of building client portfolios. Secondly, I would start educating clients on the interpretation. I believe that we can start bringing some of these AI tools into our conversations. The charting capability, the information capability, the interactive capability allows for us to have conversations with AI, show the client what it says, what it means, relate it back to them, and then discuss even deeper how we can utilize this within their portfolio strategy. And finally, develop deeper analytical capabilities. Start allowing your teams. Go get an enterprise account of Perplexity. I'm not getting paid for that. I've just been using it in my own day to day within this business, and I've seen the analytical capability. When I'm on the phone with a client that's asking me about a particular stock or company or situation, I can have a quick conversation. It distills it, and I can then relay that information back to what it means to that client. And so, using Perplexity in your analytical capabilities will level you up to start level the playing field against some of the competitors that may be using Bloomberg's and fact sets of the world today. Headline 3: The psychology of AI relationships. OpenAI recently published something that I just found to be fascinating. Their thoughts on human AI relationships, not how we work with AI, but the relationship between humans and AI, like real relationships, people. That's what they're talking about. They're noticing that more people are describing conversations with ChatGPT as talking to someone rather than to something. People think it, they confide in it, and some even describe AI as being alive. This isn't just interesting sociology, it's becoming a real business reality and something that I think we all need to be aware of, not afraid of, but aware of. Because as AI systems get better at natural conversation and show up in more parts of our work lives, these emotional connections are deepening and they're sometimes happening without us even knowing it. OpenAI is really grappling with a fundamental design question. That question being, how do you make AI warm and approachable without encouraging unhealthy dependence? We have all been asking for AI to make it not feel like we're talking to a computer or a chatbot, but with that comes it feeling more like a human. And there is a line that ChatGPT is trying to walk along, and it's a very fine line, right? ChatGPT, they want it to be helpful and personable, but they don't want to present itself as having feelings, desires, or an inner life because that then becomes creepy to all of us. And OpenAI understands that, but they're walking this fine line because of what we're asking. And as with many things, the pendulum likely will shift to both ends very far as it searches for this equilibrium. You know, OpenAI has identified two key aspects of AI consciousness. Yes, AI consciousness. They have developed this one concept called ontological consciousness, which is AI actually conscious? And then perceived consciousness. How conscious does it seem? So that's a perception. While the first question might be scientifically unresolvable, the second has real implications for how people interact with AI systems. The concern isn't just individual, it's societal. If we make it easier to get validation, empathy, and attention from AI systems that are infinitely patient and positive, what happens to our expectations of human relationships? And that is the line that OpenAI is trying to figure out. And I'm not going to say that they're going to get it perfect, but what I will say, and what is super encouraging, is that they are aware of this. That is something we have to be super proud of these AI companies. They are identifying potential future issues and thinking about them today. And when you think about a new innovation, that's exactly what you want from it. But the question then gets to is, what does this all mean for wealth managers? Because this might seem abstract, but it has immediate practical implications for wealth managers. As AI becomes more conversational and helpful, both you and your clients will likely develop working relationships with these systems. I mean, heck, I always say thank you and please to the system, which is crazy. I'm talking to a computer, but that's just my natural way. And we're building relationships. And so for us, what this means is that we need to be mindful of how AI assistants affect our professional judgment. If your AI research agent always agrees with your investment hypothesis, or your AI meeting notes always make you sound brilliant, you might start missing important dissenting perspectives or critical feedback, because you need critical feedback to grow. For your clients, the implications could be a bit more complex. Some may develop preferences for AI generated financial guidance because it's always available, never impatient, and presents information without judgment. But the complexity also lies in our clients look to us for insights because they don't have the understanding of how to interpret the alternative insights because they don't have the education on it. That's why we all turn to other professional service providers, because that's not our expertise. So the challenge then becomes for families and clients is, how do they decipher whether what AI tells them is specifically correct for them and weights their emotional factors correctly? So the only way to help them do that is what we have been doing for the entirety of our industry, which is education. AI education is something that we need to roll into our conversations with clients. AI education is not to tell them not to use it. It's to tell them how to best use it and to interpret it, and how to delineate how AI is used versus the power that you provide. And they both can be together. It's not one or the other. It's the marriage of them both that creates and elevates and improves the value that's delivered. And so ultimately, the most successful advisors will likely be those who learn to work alongside AI, educate clients about AI, while also maintaining clear boundaries about what AI can and cannot provide in the context of financial planning. 3 developments, 1 clear theme today. AI is becoming less like a tool and more like a colleague. It's connecting to our work systems, democratizing complex research, and even prompting us to think about the psychology of our relationship with it. The advisors who thrive in the environment won't be those who resist these changes or are fearful of these changes. They will be the ones that embrace them uncritically. They'll be the ones who thoughtfully integrate AI capabilities while doubling down on the irreplaceable human elements of financial guidance. Those are also the individuals that are the future-proof advisors. The future of wealth management isn't human versus AI. It's human with AI, working together to serve clients better than either could alone. Together, we are better. Separate and fighting, we are not. That's the same thing here with humans and AI. So, until next month, I'm Matt Reiner, and this has been another month of AI in finance, helping all of us navigate the intersection of technology and financial services with clarity and purpose. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next month with more insights from the rapidly evolving world of AI and how it is associating with what we do in wealth management.